Good day, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Albino Rhino Beer Review. Today you have the Rhino. We're going to drink a beer. The beers are back behind me. My cup is somewhere in here. Oh, I see it. It's at my feet. Next beer on the list is right here. It is a Niagara College Project Brew. This is from the Ninkasi's Jungle section of Project Brews. So Project Brew is they do 2 beer festivals a year. Actually, I think it might be 3 now. It might be 3 semesters a year they do. But what they do is they have a beer festival for the graduating class. And everybody in the graduating class makes a beer of their own. And then they also make a big class project beer. So Ninkasi's Jungle was the name of the last one of these, the last project brew. I don't remember if it was August or September. Maybe even October that it happened. Is there a canning date? I don't remember what month it was in. But Ninkasi Jungle was the name of it. And this is one of the beers from it. This is Walking on the Sun Dry Hopped Pseudo Lager. And Daniel Fonseca was the kid brewing it, kid or adult, or the person. The brewmaster that brewed this was Daniel Fonseca. This is 4.5% alcohol by volume. A pseudo lager makes me kind of weirded out. Dry hopped, I don't know what it's dry hopped with. Let our class fill your glass. Beer and education, a pairing that has been fermenting for generations. We've put our heads together to craft something truly unique. The Niagara College Teaching Brewery. Just like our beer, it's the only one of its kind. Proceeds of sales support student learning. Niagara College Teaching Brewery. Teachingwinery.ca, Niagara College Learning Enterprise Corporation, 135 Taylor Road, Niagara on the Lake, Ontario, Canada, LOS 1JO, Lossy Joe. Label donated from H. Moore Printing Services. So when we were down in May, they had one of these going on, a Project Brew. It had just ended. It was like the end of April. So when we got there in May, John Downing, the brewmaster professor, brought me a 2-4 with all their beers in it. And we live streamed a review of them all. It was me, Alicia, her brother, and our sister-in-law. And we live streamed the whole thing. And we lined them all up from our top to our least favorite. And there were some really good beers in there, and there was some really not good beers in there. And it wasn't that this. There was only one that it was a brewing fault. The rest of them just they weren't our style, which is perfectly fine. And that's the greatest thing about this is you have one brewery, but like at any one time there might be 90 brewmasters there, right? Because you got the kids in the first year program, the kids in the second year, like so. It's awesome when you think about it because there's so many different beers that will come out all the time. Now they have their Beer 101 line. They have their, which is, it's beers that are supposed to be to the style, and sometimes they're beers that George Eagleson made. Sometimes they're beers that, Dimitri was a brewer teacher there at one point. There's been lots of guys that are well known in the brewing industry. Sam Corbeil from Sawdust City was there at one point. So the lineup of brewers to teach you is huge. Ken from Black Oak, not a brewmaster, but he was there teaching some classes at one point. Like they pull from so many places. So slightly hazy, amber color, almost more burnt orange, eh? Bright white head, but it did fade. No more snap, crackle, pop. It's all gone. Scent out of the glass. Okay. Slightly buttery, almost butterscotchy, and that's all I'm getting out of the glass. Out of the can. Okay, the can does not smell like the glass, and that's perfectly fine. Can has kind of that, has almost like a slight pine and slight citrus fruit to it, as well as that nonchalant, almost resiny bitterness you can get from an East Coast Pale Ale and stuff like that. Cheers, let's try it. Okay, first and foremost, very soft, very smooth. Medium bodied, but very soft and very smooth. The carbonation is minimal. Velvety across the tongue. Little piney, little floral, little citrus. As a pseudo lager, I don't know what part is the pseudo part. I don't know if it was a lagered ale like a Kolsch. I don't know if it was just, I fucked up, or I used lager yeast, so it's kind of a lager, but I didn't use traditional lager methods. I don't know what makes it a pseudo lager to them, but like a lager, it is very easy on the mouth. It's very easy drinking, and almost like a session IPA, it has that, or an ISL, an India Session Lager. It has that hoppy note to it, but it's very easy drinking, and I think almost any up here people drink Bud, and they pay $65 for a 12 pack of Bud if they buy it legally, and they can pay up to $200 for that 12 pack of Bud if they buy it illegally. And even the Bud drinkers, I think, could drink this. As you saw, I put that back really quickly. Very easy drinking beer. Very easy to get behind. I like this beer. It's a good beer. I like this beer quite a lot, to be honest. I could drink that. I didn't like the smell out of the glass. It did have that buttery, almost diacetyl smell. Can did not. Taste does not have it, and I am fairly it affects me. It's like sulfites in my ciders. I can taste the sulfites fairly easily. I can taste that in a beer fairly easily. I don't taste it in the beer. I like this beer. Out of 10 on this beer, I'd give it a 7.75. It's a solid beer that I would buy again. If this was sitting in front of me, I would buy it. So Daniel Fonseca, awesome job. Not that I matter anymore in the industry. I don't run a beer festival anymore. I'm not at every brewery. People don't know. I don't run the podcast anymore because my internet sucks. So I'm nothing in the industry anymore, but I'm still saying good. Bye.